Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, Plus Sport. I'm sure a lot of our viewers are already sticking to the 5 o'clock hour where they could watch the best of sport when it comes to talking about trending sports across the globe. I am Mudashiru Shitu. I'll be your host and anchor in this period of time talking about the world of sport. But our focus will just be on what just happened today, talking about the release of names for the Super Falcons World Cup. But first, before we go to that, we are going to analyze the match that is taking place on Sunday between the Sierra Leone and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, taking place in Monrovia, in Liberia, the capital city of Liberia. So joining me to talk about this is Ayomide Adeleke, who we know that is one of the youngest growing sport journalists in Nigeria that has so much energy to follow all sport. And he's part of the media crew of Bede Insurance. It's good to have you, Ayomide Adeleke.
Yeah, nice to be with you once again, and it's beautiful time for us to talk sport, especially about our national team. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I don't want us to start with what happened with Bede Insurance. That'll be later in subsequent when we have you, because I know Bede Insurance are proud of themselves. But let's look at on Sunday, the biggest sporting brand in Nigeria, the Super Eagles, will be playing, and we are 9 points, top of Group A. With the same point with the second place there. So let's tell us what we should be expecting on Sunday.
Yeah, we should be expecting good things. We should be expecting fireworks. We should be expecting a football at its best from the two sides for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and especially for the host, talking about Sierra Leone. Though they are not playing at home, they are playing away in Liberia. It is a neutral ground for the two of them, talking about the two countries. And the Sierra Leoneans, they will be trying to push everything in this game because some things are involved in it. Firstly, is that Nigeria, we are currently placed second in this group behind our opponent who defeated their own opponent as Sao Tome and Principe, and they are now top of the group with 10 points. Nigeria, with 9 points rather. Nigeria, we've got 8 points, and we are placed second. And we know very fully well that it is important for us to win this game so that we can go to the top of the group. And doing that one would also assure you a place at the Nations Cup coming up next year in Cote d'Ivoire. But for the Leone Stars, they want to make it happen. They also want to cause an upset. They must have also gone through their history and asked themselves question: if Madagascar can do it, we can do it. If we can see Central African Republic do it, we can do it. If we have seen Angola do it against Nigeria before, Nigeria is not special. They don't have 4 legs, they don't have 2 heads. We can also do it against them. And they will be coming into this game knowing fully well that a win for them would also earn them something big. I think our last match against these guys wasn't a very easy one. It was a very difficult game for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And they have that at the back of their mind that it can also turn their way going into this match. However, the Super Eagles of Nigeria is made up of players who are currently in form of their lives. If you ask me, we've got players like Victor Osimhen. We have players who can definitely tuck in goals for us at the back of the net. We have Terry Murphy also, and players that are also want to book a place or solidify their space in the national team. The Nations Cup is coming up about 6 months away from now, or 7 months away from now. So they also do not want to be left out, and I believe that's going to be a very tough one. And Nigeria must be very, very cautious about this game. You don't go against your opponent and feel that everything is going to work out for you. And knowing fully well also that this game is going to be played on an artificial turf, not on natural grass. And many of our players don't want to say that they are not used to artificial turf and all that, but they've been camping in Lagos for a couple of number of days since on Monday. And I just hope that will not be like an hindrance, for them in the match against Sierra Leone. But I'm expecting fireworks all along, regardless of the status of Sierra Leone.
I mistakenly said that the Super Eagles are first on the top log of the table, which you corrected that. Thank you. But is it not surprising that in the team we have Sierra Leone, we have Sao Tome Principe, and Sierra Leone? And don't you think it's something ridiculous that a team like that, we are second place on the log table?
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to say it is ridiculous, you are not far from the truth. But another school of thought will tell you that there are no more minors in football. But I do not subscribe to that, school of thought, because you don't tell me that Nigeria should be playing against Chad, against Central African Republic, against Sao Tome and Principe, and we should be struggling. That shouldn't be heard of at all. We should have won all games that comes our way. If we are finding it very difficult to play against these smaller teams, then what do we do against bigger teams that comes our way? Although, what is happening in the world of European football, we saw what happened between Ukraine and Germany. Ukraine leading them 3-1 at some point in time. And I was like, oh, they said there's no more minors in football. But we saw Germany coming back into that one. Should I say, even at their worst, they were able to secure a draw, and that they were on the verge of even winning the game. So, but for Nigeria, it says a lot about what has been happening all along. We have not been doing what we should be doing. We have not been putting the papers we putting in place. We think that other countries are sleeping. And, at times when you see fixtures, Sierra Leone against Nigeria, South Africa and Principe against Nigeria, we feel that we have arrived. We feel that we can always go against them and overrun them and run them out. But football is not like that. There are some things that these teams are doing beneath, on the ground, that we are not even aware of. But the question I want to ask yourself is, are we developing our own football at all? If we're not developing our own football, if they are developing their own football, when we meet, it will be difficult for us to play against them, and they will beat us outrightly, regardless of what their name is. It's just like saying Nigeria against Italy, and Italy will not go to bed because they are playing against Nigeria, and Italy will always have edge because they are doing things right almost every time, renewing their philosophy of football, updating their coaches. Their players are the best in their position in any club that they play for. But are we even parading the best of the best player? That's the question we'll be asking ourselves. When you don't even have the best of the best player in your team, then how do you go up against a determined, a hungry side that all they want is they want to make name for themselves, they want to make name for their country, unlike players who just want to come just because I have somebody who can always call me up and all that because I'm a superstar where I play, and they get to the field of play, things don't work out. So that's why we have find ourselves in this situation here where we feel that we have arrived. Unfortunately, we have not even started anything, and that's why we are struggling against this national team. As you rightly said, it is embarrassing that in a club where we have Sao Tome and Principe, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria will be placed second.
So surprising. But we also hear that the reports that Pasero, who is the coach of the Super Eagles, might likely not continue. His contract might not be renewed. And what can you say? How true is that? And what can you say about it? Won't that report, which we know have been there, true or not true, affect the performance of the Super Eagles on Sunday?
Yeah. Well, talking about performance, let me start from there. I don't think the sacking of any coach or the intention of sacking any coach is going to affect any performance of any players. If you are serious, go to the field of play. You are not playing for Pesero. You are playing for Nigeria, the greatest, the most populous black nation on earth. If you want to play for Pesero, you can decide to play for a particular club you'll be coaching maybe in the future. And then talking about if the story is true or not, I cannot say if it is true or not. I'm not the NFL president, and I'm not the NFL technical department head. However, I feel that there are some iota of truth in this. I did not expect Ashew Gusso to come on board and start sacking coaches anyhow. We will definitely give them time for them to run out their contract, and by then we call them and tell them, "I'm very sorry. Your plan, your philosophy is not working with ours. We have to allow it to go." So, but if this man is sacked, then I will tell you that I will be one of the happiest men on earth, because number one, I never wanted somebody like that to be our coach. Quite all right. We were all up against Genetro. I supported Genetro in his first coming, but in the second coming, he didn't do what he did in the first coming by giving enough competition for places in the team. Some players now feel that they can come up anytime, any day. Genetro was playing a meaningless football and still fielding the same starting 11 we are going to field against Brazil. Meanwhile, you invite other players. So coaches like that, I do not believe in them. And for Pesero, when he was called upon, we heard different stories about him coming third in the screening, in the test conducted for coaches. Then why do you go for somebody who came third to be the coach of Super Eagles of Nigeria? At this age, Nigeria should be hiring one of the best coaches in the world. There's nothing stopping us from that. How much are you going to pay for that one? Can't we get sponsors who can come together and be the one in charge of paying coaching salaries and all that? So for me, I think Jose Pesero leaving Nigeria is not going to cause any harm for us. It's not going to bring anything special. He is living for good, and he should be living for good, rather, and we should be getting somebody better than him, not just anybody who is called a foreign coach.
Yeah, we also know that the Super Eagles are always bundles of talent. That so many of them they've done so well in the season. From Victor Osimhen, you can mention all Super Eagles players have been invited. A lot of them had a wonderful season. But more often, we realize that we don't see that synergy. We don't see that because for you to have an Osimhen and Alex Iwobi, all these players doing so well in the club, Taiwo Awoniyi and the rest of them. And we realize that we still don't bring out the best of these players when it comes to them representing the Super Eagles. What do you think is the cause of this?
Yeah, talking about these players not bringing up their best, at all times when representing the country, but they are doing fine in their respective club. And one thing we have to understand, we have to know is that club football is different to national team football. A club football, you train almost twice daily, morning and evening session. You play almost twice a week. So you can easily gel up, you can easily create a synergy. Unlike national team, where the set of players invited for a particular match might be different to another set of players invited for another match. So it's going to be very difficult creating synergy. However, this is where national team football policy comes on board. This is where what you can do comes on board. What you should be doing comes on board. What template or style of football are we adopting? Do you want to copy that of the Italian, the German, the French, the Spanish, or any country or the net that we feel that we can copy, their template and apply it? And once we know that we have a particular system of play, every player that will be invited by any coach would be players who can fit into that plan, into that philosophy, into that tactical, mindset. But we don't have any style. A coach comes around today, plays tiki-taka. Another coach comes next year, decide to give us, Jose Mourinho style. Another one comes to give us Pep Guardiola style. So we keep on changing national team style almost every year, and it's not going to help us in any way. Take a look at other national teams; they have what they are doing, and it starts from the basic, from foundation, from the academy down to the 24, under 15 teams, under 17, under 20, under 23, before getting to the main team. So if you have passed through all coaches who are all working on the same template set by the Football Federation or the Football Association, there is no how you are going to have it difficult in the national team. And you cannot just come and be playing anything you like. No, you cannot do that. You have to play what we play. You have to play what we want you to play. So that is another issue that we are facing in the country. Your coaches just come around, just call anybody. And another major factor is our administrators. And I will say this again. When Amaju Pinnick came on board, I came up with the mindset that if I happen to be Amaju Pinnick, I know fully well that I'll be spending 8 years. Yes, that if somebody come and tell me he's going to spend only 4 years, I think that is trying to deceive people. But you are going to spend 8 years. Okay, why not use the first 2-3 years to break down the Nigerian football and rebuild it again? Let us have a structure, a template that we need to build on. Lay the foundation. Even if you will not be emerging for 8 years or you will not be there for second term, somebody else coming on board, we have something to build on. But we don't want to build on anything. What we want in Nigeria is just get there, just win for me, so that in my administration, I can say that I want something. We don't care what the future holds.
So now we have some invited players from the local league. We have Ojo Olaunleke, who plays for Eyimba, and some other, I think a player from Ben Insurance, Divine.
Yeah, Divine Nwachukwu, Victor Sochima, and Ebubeduru.
And how impactful can you analyze that season, how the season for these players have been? Remember Ojo Olaunleke under 20, and a certain time Ojo Nobu. And then I realized that he was with Sunshine Stars, and he won the league with Eyimba just some few weeks ago. Divine Nwachukwu has been talked about severally, and tell us so much, and how do you impactful? Which of them do you think will probably have a starting shirt?
Yeah, I think Divine Nwachukwu would have been the player with the starting shirt. Reason is because he's been through the ranking from under 15, under 17, under 20, and the Super Eagles of Nigeria now. Although maybe he hasn't played in any big competition, but he has always been part of all this 8th grade. Meaning, if there has been a template on ground before, Divine Nwachukwu would have found it very easy to blend into the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But that's another discussion for another day. However, Sochima Victor, I don't think is going to start because for me, he shouldn't have been invited originally. If you have to take a look into what he did at the Super 6, then he shouldn't be there, number one. Qualifying a team doesn't mean that you are the best. We saw what Amos Obasoge did. We saw what Bankole did for Remo Stars as well. These guys, one of them should have at least made the list. But because Ose Pesero decided to work with players that he has worked with before, players that he understands, players that knows a little about what she wants. So probably that's why he invited Sochima and Odolonleke to the squad. And coupled with the fact that Odolonleke won the league. But for Ebeduru, I think Ebeduru should be given a chance to start in this game. Divine Nwachukwu also should be given a chance to start in this game. Reason for Divine Nwachukwu is because he has proven himself. He's one of the invited players that people have commended and praised NFF for the technical skill for inviting a local based player. But this is against Sierra Leone. I don't expect you to bring in a Divine Nwachukwu when Nigeria is needing goal. This is national team pressure. It is totally different. It doesn't, negate the fact that he's a quality player. So for me, I would prefer him start, and maybe if the game gets somehow messier, possibly it will not, then you can now bring in established player. But I believe that team playing, starting will not be a very bad idea, in my opinion. And I believe that the other goalkeeper from the Israeli league is going to be in goal. Maybe in the second half, if Nigeria can score like 3 or 4 goals in the first half, then we can bring in the other guy. But we'll be scared because of what happened here in Benin City when we were leading 4-0 against Sierra Leone until they came back to play 4-4.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ayomide Adeleke. We're still not going yet, but we just our viewers to have a glimpse of what happened in the last match between Sierra Leone and the Super Eagles of Nigeria, which the Super Eagles of Nigeria won 2-1. Nigerians, we really remember this very much. Victor Osimhen scoring and Alexua will be equalizing before Osimhen extended leads. We still have Ayomide Adeleke with us. Victor Osimhen has been up and doing. What do you expect from Osimhen? Let's not forget he's not in Napoli setting. But what do you expect from Victor Osimhen on Sunday? Ayomide Adeleke. Okay. In the process of seeing whether we can get Ayomide Adeleke back, to still talk on the Flying Eagles, the Super Eagles. Ayola?
Yes, I'm with you here.
Okay, fine. We saw what Victor Osimhen did throughout the season. I won't say anything. It was written all over the world about his exploit this season. Now, tell us, what do you expect from Victor Osimhen, and how do you want the front line to look like in this match on Sunday?
Well, the first thing I want from Victor Osimhen is number one, because of recent, some people have condemned his attitude on the field of play for the national team, about always wanting to have the ball, about, trying to direct, coordinate, and do all that thing. I would advise him to take that away from him. We know that you are a big player, you are a top player, of course, one of the hottest properties in the world. But at the same time, this is a national team where you can only give what you have, and there's nobody who can finish everything in the fatherland. So I would want him to take away such attitude, firstly. Then secondly, what I expect from him is nothing less than top performance, a top-notch one precisely, getting goals for us there, talking goals at the back of the net. You are a bully to any defender. Any defender will be very scared playing against you. But you have the back of his mind as well, that these guys would also want to, mark his scores, or get his scores from him that, he didn't score against my team, I marked him out and all that. That should be at the back of his mind. But I didn't expect anything less than him getting us at least 2 goals in this match, so that we can show to the world that if I can do it for Napoli, I can also do it for the national team. Yeah,
people say that Taiwo Awoniyi is one of the best that we've not really utilized his talent. We saw what he did for Nottingham Forest. His goals make them not go into relegation. And what kind of combination do you expect? Do you in the front line? What do you think? Do you think Taiwo Awoniyi will also be starting alongside Victor Osimhen, or there'll be other choice to make between those front lines? Or Victor Osimhen is just the target man, and maybe somebody by his side. What is your own expectation of the front line?
Yeah, I like your point of view that Victor Osimhen being the point man should have someone else beside him so that the burden will not all be placed on Victor Osimhen. He can have somebody that people will also be focusing on. So in such case, I would have preferred having a Taiwo Awoniyi beside him. But these coaches, they have different style of play. How many of these coaches fancy playing a 4-4-2 formation where you can have Victor Osimhen and Taiwo Awoniyi at the same time? Or how many of them will use a 4-3 formation and have Victor Osimhen and Taiwo Awoniyi dropping either Chukwueze or Simon or Musa, on the bench and want to use two striker up front. So, one, you have to consider what the coach is going to play up as well. And for Taiwo Awoniyi, unfortunately, he hasn't gotten that coach who knows how to use him very well in the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Maybe until when we have a new coach that will be able to make use of him, then we can see his best for the national team. But I believe that the coach really wants to do something. There's nothing bad in playing Osimhen for 45 minutes and giving the other 45 minutes for Taiwo Awoniyi. I wouldn't subscribe to him using the two of them if he's not going to adopt a 4-4-2 formation, because that's only when the two of them can function. But if you know that you want to use them, you want them to play, give them chances, then let them play 45 minutes apiece. And I think in the 45 minutes, they are going to give us the best. I cannot be scared when we have Taiwo Awoniyi on the field of play playing for Nigeria. If he can score goals against Liverpool, against Chelsea, against big clubs in Europe, why not against Sierra Leone? Just give him the time. Do not burden him too much, and surely he will deliver.
Before we shift focus from the Super Eagles preparation game against Sierra Leone in Liberia on Sunday, it will be about 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Is it going to be a win, or we still have to wait a little bit longer and bring out our usual drawing board and start doing permutation and all that? Or you think it's going to be a win for that match?
Yeah, well, I'm a Nigerian, and I wouldn't want to say what will make people feel that this one is just antagonizing the national team. Doesn't want them to, that even if I antagonize them, it doesn't stop them from scoring goals. Not be go hold their boot, something like that. But the truth of the matter is, I feel that we should be able to get a win in this one. Sierra Leone, we have in the back of their mind that in the last 3 games, they've been able to get draw against Nigeria and 1 win for Nigeria. So they will feel that they still have got the energy to do something. But what the coach is going to bring out eventually on that very day is what matters most. If you recall, he gave the journalists only 1 day to gain access to the players, and the other a couple of days, the media, was shut out, from their training, because they know that somebody, even among our journalists, can get to record their tactical practice and sell it to opponent. Not everybody want to make money, but maybe that's why the process is like that. But what I feel is that going to that match, Nigeria should be rest assured that we are going to get maximum victory.
So we are getting maximum victory, and after that, if that victory comes, should we still hold on to Parcero if that question comes up again, or we should just look for a new coach?
Parcero wants Atomi and Principe about 10 goals to 1, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. that will not still make me to say that we should keep to Parcero. In my own opinion, Parcero is not the kind of coach that we need. The kind of coach I need for Super Eagles of Nigeria is a top or Class A or Class B, European coach. A coach that we can have our young coaches learn under study. And as time goes on, probably after 4 or 5 years, you can tell him thank you, give him a send forth or whatever. Then these guys that have understudied him can begin to come in and take charge of our team. So that's the kind of orientation I have about getting a foreign coach. Not a foreign coach that will still be asking me, please, what can I do or what should I do? No, I want somebody that I will always want to feed from as a coach or on my field. So I want something bigger. That's what I would also try for Nigeria. Parcero winning Sierra Leone, of course. If they decide to give him a contract extension because of that, well, I cannot still fault NFF. It is their decision, but I don't think a 20-0 win for Nigeria against Sierra Leone should give Parcero a contract extension.